Welcome to the Faster Way to Fat Loss with Whitney Shamp. I'm so excited that you are here. Tonight is our official kickoff, and we are going to dive right in with our prep week training. This week, we are going to focus on whole food nutrition and intermittent fasting. During the week, we'll learn the basics of intermittent fasting and what exactly whole food nutrition means. If you have not found the portal within your welcome email from corporate, please make sure that you find that portal. The portal is a place for the meal plan. It's also the place for all the workouts, and it's a great place and reference for all the additional training information. However, I will post that information for each day under our daily posts so that you're not trying to go to too many places at one time or during one day. Make it a little bit easier for everyone. Now, if you have not already done so, you need to complete the new client assessment form. That form was emailed to you in the welcome email from myself. So please make sure that you have this done by tomorrow at the very latest, because if you decide that you want to speed up the program and the prep weeks, then we'll need that information to be able to set up your macros and kind of personalize those to you and your goals. So let's dive right into what is intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is not a diet. It is a eating schedule. So in the Faster Way, we practice what is called a 16-8 protocol. So you will eat all of your food, all of your macros, which will teach you what a macro is. Don't worry about that. But all of your macros within an 8-hour window during the day. You will fast then for 16 hours. I know that seems scary. I promise it will become the easiest part of this program. It is intimidating at first, especially if you've never done intermittent fasting, because I'm telling you not to eat for 16 hours. That's all that seems intimidating. I promise you, once you get started, once you see the amount of food that you can eat during those 8 hours, it is so much easier than it sounds. Now, your 8-hour window is called your feeding window, and that is customizable to you. I've had the majority of clients choose a 8-hour window during the day. So a 12 noon to 8 p.m. or an 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Probably the two most common eating windows. However, I've also had people who work in the operating room who say, I really want to do 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's fine. It is 100% up to you what those 8 hours are. We just want you to pick an 8-hour window that's going to work for you the majority of the days and stick to it. Now, I don't want you to jump right into a 16-hour fast, particularly if you are someone with thyroid issues, if you are diabetic, or if you are breastfeeding. I want you to work your way up to this. So tonight, stop eating at a certain time, and tomorrow, right now, pick a time tomorrow that you are going to make it to. Now, by all means, if you do not feel well, it is more important that you eat than pass out or feel poorly. If you're not eating enough during your eating window, you may not feel well, and that is very common. If you are eating enough during that 8-hour period, you will easily make it to your 16-hour end of 16-hour fast. Now, I want you tonight to pick that time, whatever it is. Let's say it's 8 o'clock. Say it was 7 o'clock. I typically do 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. So let's say that 7 o'clock I stopped eating. Tomorrow, I'm going to make it till at least 7 a.m. before I eat anything over 50 calories. So you're going to say, what should I eat, or what can I eat during my fasting window? Absolutely a very important topic. First of all, you can have coffee. You can have anything that is under 50 calories and has very little to no fiber. It would be best if it had no fiber. So you have to look at the nutrition label and make sure it has no fiber before you consume it. But the most important and most common question I get is, can I still have coffee? And you absolutely can. We're going to make some slight changes to your coffee if you are a creamer or sugar person in your coffee, which if you are a black coffee drinker, more power to you. But coffee is absolutely fine. You may have 50 calories of creamer in your coffee, and we ask that you stick to stevia because it is a fruit-derived sweetener that does not increase your insulin levels, so it will not break your fast. Okay, so stevia and something like an almond milk would be the best choice. You can actually have about 8 ounces of almond milk before you hit, I think 8 ounces of the one that I have. It's a Califia. I'm sure I'm butchering the name, but it's a brand in a funny looking, funny shaped bottle. Very common, very easily to find in all grocery stores, including Target. But it is one of my favorites. They do have creamer versions of that. I would say if you are a person who likes a little bit of coffee with a lot of creamer, stick with an almond milk product and not a creamer. If you like a little bit of creamer with your coffee, you could probably get away with a creamer. Just gonna have to watch how much you put in so that you're not going over that 50 calories. Now, you can add stevia to that, like I said, but we don't want you using things like Sweet and Low, Splenda, agave, honey, none of those, because the Sweet and Low and whatnot are going to form an insulin response that can break your fast in most people. And then the others have more than 50 calories. So we definitely don't want you doing that. You should stay very, very well hydrated. So LaCroix, regular water, flavored waters that have natural sweeteners, things like hint waters are great. Bubbly waters are fine. Hot teas are great. So there are lots of options to stay hydrated with. One of the other things that you can have is a BCAA powder. So if you're someone who likes to work out in the morning, that is a great option to kind of help you get through your fast and not feel so depleted before you break your fast at, let's say it's 11 o'clock a.m. We want you to try to stay consistent with that schedule throughout the week. And yes, we do fast every day. We want you to really try to keep that window as consistent as possible so that you're seeing the best benefit for your fasting. Now, we're also going to talk about whole food nutrition. This week, I want you to start weaning all of the processed foods that you typically eat. So take a look at your nutrition labels. If it has words in there that you can't pronounce, it's probably not a whole food. If it has more than 5 to 10 ingredients, it's probably not the best choice. We're really going to try to wean those things out. Now, I understand that takes more time for some than others, and some of you are very much into processed foods, and some of you are already eating a lot of whole foods. Everyone's going to be a little bit different on this one. We really want the bulk of your nutrition to come from whole foods. So what are whole foods? Whole foods are things that are in their natural state. If they are grown from the ground, so that's things like fruits, vegetables, beans, nuts are another one, oats, rice. So there are lots of options. And then the other thing that you'll hear us say is if it has a mother. Well, that just means that it's a protein. So beef, chicken, fish, shrimp, all of the things that you can think of that are protein that have a mother. Then yes, it's probably a whole food. We want to try to limit these processed foods because they are inflammatory to our body, and that includes gluten and dairy. So we are going to try to eliminate all gluten and dairy from our diet for at least the first 4 weeks. I understand that that may be tricky for some. Some of you are dairy people, you love your cheese. There are so many options out there now. I have a specific food finds group, which hopefully you saw in the welcome email, but if you have not seen the invite for that, please let me know. That is a great place to find some of these options, to look through some snack options, and also to see some of the dairy-free and gluten-free options. There are so many. It is the easiest time to go dairy and gluten-free. Now, if you are out and you have a salad and you forget to not have cheese on it, just eat the cheese. It's okay. I personally have put cheese back into my diet, but I don't eat it at home. I really try to avoid it as much as possible. But on the same token, when I go out to eat, if it's in something, I'm not gonna not eat it because it's there. So it's not something that you have to keep out of your diet for the rest of your life. However, what we're gonna do is see if those things make a difference in how you feel. Some people don't have a true allergy. So if you've had allergy testing, it may be completely normal. However, you may have a sensitivity that leads to bloating and gas and difficulty losing fat because of the sensitivity. So I do want you to be extra careful with milk products, because if it's lactose free, that does not mean that it is dairy free. And then also protein powders. Some of you will have trouble hitting your protein and you may turn to a protein powder. That's okay, but make sure it's not whey based. So whey, W-H-E-Y, based, that's actually a lactose or milk product. So we definitely don't want you going to that. I'll post a couple of different options for you for some protein powders if that's something that you already use and want to continue. Maybe it's a better option for you. Now, there are so many options for gluten-free, and I understand that it can be tough, especially with kids or with a busy lifestyle or traveling, to go completely gluten-free. However, and stick to whole food nutrition. Now, I am realistic, I hope you will be too, that we are not going to be able to cut out every single thing that is a typical processed food. So let's say a wrap. Great way to get in some protein, great way to get in some veggies, but a typical flour tortilla is not the best choice for this. There are options. Yes, they have some extra processed foods in them, but I am realistic and I want you to be too. We need to find things that are going to work with a busy lifestyle, that are going to work with, new moms, busy families, all of these things that make these programs harder. We're not going to do that. We're going to make this easy for you so that you have lots of options and can stick to this program and truly make it a lifestyle. Now, I think that goes over most of Whole Foods. If you have questions about Whole Foods or want more options, please check out the food finds. And then in this group, please share. I want to see what things you find, because yes, I'll post what I find, but we don't go to the same grocery store, and I'd love to see what you find too. This program is a little bit different than most, I would say. We focus every week on non-scale victories. I want to know what you have found through the week that we are going through. Each Friday, we are going to celebrate non-scale victories. And you're saying, what is a non-scale victory? So if you have not done your new client assessment, that is the one and only time that I want you to get on the scale. And then I want you to put your scale in the closet and don't get on it every day. Don't get on it every week. I really want you to focus on your progress pictures, your measurements, because we are going to increase your metabolism by fueling your body properly, by building lean muscle, and you may not see as much change in the scale right away. Those changes will happen, but it takes a few weeks of this to change your body from a from a sugar burner to a fat burner. And this whole process that's the point of this. We want your body to burn fat. Now, Muscle weighs more than fat. So in the beginning, you may be building lean muscle, but your fat burn may be the exact same amount, but your scale is not going to change as much because muscle weighs more than fat. I don't want you to get discouraged. That will happen. I promise it will happen, but be patient. And if you get on the scale every day, it's just setting yourself up for failure. And we don't want that. We want you to focus on how's your sleep? How's your energy? Are your clothes fitting better? Have you decreased the size in your pants already? How are you hitting your macro goals? Have you only eaten whole foods all week long? Are you drinking all your water? All of these things that really are particularly important in the beginning to being consistent, to getting in the right macros, to sticking to whole foods, and really focusing on the concepts of this so that your body can make those changes and then see what results we get at the very beginning with these, easy changes, easy finds, easy non-scale victories like the energy and the sleep and not feeling as bloated. But then as we transition further into the program, you're going to see those changes in your clothes. You're going to see all of these things that are going to happen. And I'm so excited to be able to get you to those goals. So that is the 3 things that we want to focus on tonight. Intermittent fasting. We're going to start that tonight. You are going to pick a time tomorrow that you are going to start eating again. You're going to stay really well hydrated during your fasting time. And then, so that's tomorrow. The next day, if you are successful tomorrow, let's say you stopped eating at 7, you made it to 7, it was easy. Tomorrow, the following day, you would make it to 9. Add another 2 hours and see if you can make it. If at any time you feel poorly, stop, eat, and start again the next day. And then we're working up to 16 hours. So maybe you made it to 9 and you did excellent. The following day, try 11. If that doesn't work, go back to 9 and then try again. But the biggest thing that I want you to start doing is weaning out those processed foods. And lastly, we are going to jump a little bit ahead, and I want you to start tracking your foods. You don't have to have your macros set up, but this week you are going to download MyFitnessPal. The free version is 100% fine. You do not need the fancy version, the paid version. If you want it, it's fine. There's a free, you can actually download like a free month trial of the premium version, but it is not necessary. Now, I want you to put in your weight, put in your goal weight, and then leave the rest of that. We will set up your macros either in the accelerated version that we'll talk about tomorrow, or if this week is crazy busy and you say, I'm doing the best I can, doing intermittent fasting and weaning these processed foods. That is what I want you to do this week. I don't want you to skip ahead. I don't want you to get overwhelmed. I want you to focus on those things. And I promise you, the next week, we will focus on your macros. For those of you who are like, I'm here, we're going to do this, and we want to get in here and do it as quickly as possible, learn all the techniques this week, and jump in full force. I'm here for you too. I understand you're here. You want to get the most out of these 6 weeks. There will be a video posted tomorrow on how to accelerate and move into all of these concepts for the whole program. So I'm going to tailor this to either one. There is not a right or wrong answer, but I want all of you to download MyFitnessPal, to set up your profile. You do not have to set up your macros, but set up your profile and start tracking your foods. Even if it's a processed food, put it in there. I want to see how much you're eating every day. You are going to be amazed at how much food we actually eat in this program. Yes, it's within an 8-hour window, but I promise it will probably be more food than you have been eating in the past. If you are hungry, this program does not work. Okay. If you are hungry, this program will not work. You have to be eating enough for your body not to hold on to everything and want to go into like a starvation mode, which is what happens. We don't want you to be hungry. So if at any time you notice, wow, these macros really were working, but now I'm more hungry, we need to talk and change your macros. Same thing if we get started and you say, wow, this is just not enough food. I'm hungry every morning or I'm hungry every evening. Not okay. We've got to get you eating enough. Also, if you find this week that you start intermittent fasting on a daily basis and you jump right in and you're really struggling to make it to that break fast time, so 11 a.m., I would probably guess that you're not eating enough. So I would challenge you to start eating more during your eating window to make sure that you can make it to that break fast time. That is a lot of information at one time. Please post all your comments. I don't want these videos to get so long that you can't get through them. So we're going to do questions in the comments. That way everyone can go back through and find your questions, read through and see what's pertinent to you. So post your questions below. I will answer those tonight and tomorrow morning. If you catch this a little bit later, feel free to tag me if it's tomorrow and you need a question answered very quickly, but I will be in the group constantly. So you just let me know what you need and I am absolutely happy to answer any and all questions. Don't forget about the Food Finds group. Make sure that you are in that. It's a great resource for food examples, snack ideas, recipes, and then please get your new client assessment form done. I understand that taking measurements and photos that is not fun, but it is absolutely essential and you will want those photos as we get further into the program. Have an amazing Monday night and I can't wait to work with each of you.